Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to welcome back former Klamath County Commissioner and now State Senator-elect for District 28, Republican Dennis Linthicum. Dennis, welcome. How are you?
You bet. It's great to be here, and we are doing great. Diane and I have been kind of cleaning up after the election and saying hi to a lot of folks. Thank you for having me here tonight.
Excellent. Yeah, and congratulations. So what excites you most about serving in the legislature?
The representation has to be the number one aspect. When you look at the map, it's this red-blue map, and the counties that I represent are rural counties, and so it's all that red district here in southern and central Oregon, and it's a fabulous opportunity to get to meet those people, hear their concerns and needs, and then take those items to the legislature. So I look forward to being able to do that.
Yeah, what specific goals? I know it's early, of course, you won 48 hours maybe since you won. So what specific goals or priorities do you have for your 4 years?
I think the number, I'm not sure your listeners may not know I'm a former Klamath County Commissioner, so I have a lot of budget experience there. And additionally, I have an economics degree from UCLA. And economics has to come to the forefront of our discussions. The PERS imbalance, the unfunded liabilities, the unsustainable track that Oregon government is on has to be met with economic reality. And there are only 4.1 million people in the state of Oregon. How are we going to do this? And it's a tough how question because it either involves cutting services or increasing taxes. Which of those play best in the legislature? That'll be an argument I'm willing to take.
Well, that leads me to my next question. With the failure of 97, cuts will need to be made. Where would you like to see those cuts be made, or is it a tax thing? I mean, yeah, you said it's a difficult decision.
Well, right, and those are the two eggs that we're dealing with. One of them's, raw, and the other one's hard-boiled. Which one are you going to crack open? And so the difficulty comes in. It's not a single answer issue. It is a multi-answer issue. There was a Taxpayers Association of Oregon had a flyer during the primary and during the general election that said, State of Oregon and local county governments hire 17 new employees every day. And when you think about that, well, no wonder we've got a growth in government problem. Revenue can't keep up with that. Oregon revenue has been increasing now year after year after year. More tax revenue is coming into the state legislature, and we can never fund all the programs that get created and dreamed up. So at some point, we're going to have to say, wait a minute, we can no longer afford that, and we're going to have to ask tough questions. Which of those programs are no longer affordable?
You ran unopposed in the primary after filing a day before the deadline closed. Current Senator Doug Whitsitt then withdrew his name after the deadline. Some critics believe this series of events was meant to keep others from participating in the election. How do you respond to that?
It's really a non-issue. It turns out there were candidates on the ballot, and there are candidates. We had a great season of debates coming into the general election. We met in different counties at different town halls all across the area, and it turns out nobody's interested in that. What they're interested in is policy perspectives. How will we deal with the policies that are facing Oregonians and Oregonians in the near future? This is an issue that needs to be brought to the surface so that whether I'm a Republican or he's a Republican or whatever turns out not to be the issue. It turns out, do you carry the fiscal conservative values that I carry because I have to manage my own family's wallet and budget? And I don't see state government doing that. And so state government is going to have to get in line with managing their money and their budget and their requirements in the same way typical family does. So I'm proud to represent those Republicans and those conservatives. It was a great victory on election night. You saw it all across the nation. And it's a great message to bring to voters. lower taxes, less regulation, and more individual liberty for those individuals that live here in this district.
I want to ask one last question. We're running short on time, so I ask you to please be brief if you can. District 28, fascinating. You're 5 different counties: East Jackson,
Right.
Lake, Crook, Deschutes, of course, Klamath. How do you travel a lot? How are you going to do this?
Yeah, indeed. Diane and I travel a lot, and we, like I said when we started, it's exciting to meet these people, to meet the hardworking individuals and families that make up rural Oregon and bring their voice to the state legislature in Salem. It'll be a great 4-year term.
Well, it's good to see you. Thank you again, and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Okay.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.